How do I feel about the erectile device at 2 years post-op? You could say I feel pumped. Hey folks, it's Finn. Welcome back, lovely people. Lovely to see you and thank you for tuning in. So today's video is another phalloplasty update. This time I'm talking about the penile implant, the erectile device, which is the final stage of lower surgery over here in the UK. I'm now 2 years post-op from having the erectile device fitted. So in today's video, I want to talk about the healing and adjustment over these 2 years to the device, and also talk about some of the common concerns and questions that I had, and I know lots of other people have, when it comes to the erectile device. But before we get stuck in, if you are new, then a very, very big welcome. My name is Finn, and here on my channel, I create content around gender transition, mental health, and LGBT life. So if you're enjoying my content and you want to support the work I do, then please do subscribe to my channel, which you can do by clicking that big red subscribe button below. And if you want to show your support even further, then I would love you to join my memberships and become a FinnFam Flock Club member. And there's a join button underneath here for that too. In preparation for this video, I actually made a poll on my YouTube channel where I asked people to comment on what were their common questions and concerns about the erectile device. And thank you so much to everyone who answered. There was some really insightful stuff. As you can see from the poll below, lots of people are really concerned about the reliability of the device and about having mechanical parts inside themselves. And I can kind of relate to these concerns. But there was actually so many amazing comments on that thread that I'm going to split this into 2 videos. Today I want to talk about the implant, how that's healed and how I've adjusted to it over these 2 years, and talk about a few of these concerns here that relate to my experience. But I'm going to make a separate vlog where I really do address all of the concerns that you raised as well, because I think there's some really important stuff there that needs its own concentrated video. And it's likely that today's video will bring up more questions as well, so you can pop them below and I'll add them to it. So firstly, I'll talk about the healing and adjustment over these 2 years, because if you remember, if you've seen the video from earlier on where I did a review, I think it was about 9 months post-op, I did a review here on my YouTube channel and on my blog as well, where I spoke about some of my initial concerns with the device, about how I was worried that the erection didn't seem to stand straight up, that it pointed to the side, that there still seemed to be a bit of a bend in the erection, that it sometimes felt uncomfortable when it was pumped up, and I worried that it might come loose and break, and just lots and lots of fears. What I've learned about my whole lower surgery journey is that there is so much to worry about. But now, at 2 years post having the device fitted, those concerns have changed, and they're not a worry anymore for me. And I'm reminded, and I remind everyone else all the time, that healing takes time. I only made those updates at 9 months post-op, which wasn't a lot of time really for the device to settle and for me to get used to it. And I think it can be common to worry in early days about the surgery we've had and forget that bodies do take time. And I think now at 2 years, the device is embedded and I've got used to it, which is really what has changed the most significantly over these 2 years. Yes, the 2 things that have really changed the way I feel about the erectile device is 1, that I've got used to how it works, and 2, that I've got used to how I feel with it in terms of how I feel sensation when using it, because having an erection is very different in terms of feeling than before the erectile device when my penis was soft. I forgot to do the disclosure at the beginning of this video, but hopefully by now you've guessed that this is going to be quite revealing and frank. So stop now if this isn't for you. I won't judge you. So let's look at the first one, getting used to the device. Now this is the thing, you see, we can only ever imagine what it's like to have a penis until we've got one. And then of course, the penis we have as trans people is different to a cis male's penis in how it works and how it feels. So having a concept in my head of how this penis would work, in reality, is very different to how a phalloplasty penis with an erectile device works. So things like just getting used to the fact that he isn't going to stand in the same way that a cis male penis will. It's going to bend in different ways than the cis penis will. And I think trusting the device has been a big thing as well, knowing that I can't overpump and knowing that I can sometimes put a couple of extra pumps in it. But more than anything, it's the action of using it, you know, because self-pleasure with a phalloplasty penis with an erectile device is different than self-pleasure with a cis penis because of the way the penis moves when it's phalloplasty. So getting used to how to give myself pleasure over a penis that doesn't have foreskin and feels different to a cis penis, learning that aspect of it, but even more so learning how to use it with somebody else in terms of penetration, because that is also very different than, as I can imagine anyway, a cis man. Because with a cis male penis, it is erect and it points forward and that's fine. But with a phalloplasty penis with an erectile device, there's a way that the device is anchored on the pubic bone, which means that it doesn't always point forward. And so the direction of travel, trying to explain this as best I can, the direction of travel for me is kind of to the side. For example, if you imagine a straw, and when it's held straight up, if you push the straw, it will bend. But maybe there is a stronger anchor of that straw if you push at an angle. And that's with what it is for my erectile device. Because it's slightly anchored over the pubic bone, if I try and push forward with it, it often bends there. Whereas if I push in the direction of travel, it's more solid. Is this making sense? So this has been key for me over these 2 years, is to really get used to how this device works best. Not using my imagination to think about how a penis would work, but actually getting used to how my penis works, and that it might work differently, but if I learn what those different quirks are with it, then it actually works fine. It works fine for self-pleasure, and it works perfectly fine for penetrative sex as well. And that's all I'm saying on that. The second way that I've got used to this erectile device is how I feel pleasure with it. And to explain this, in my video last week I spoke about sensation and about how the sensation on my penis is displaced. And it's quite confusing. Like some areas I can feel slight direct touch, but the erotic touch sensation is felt elsewhere. I often feel arousal in my old T-dick where it's buried and I can't find it. It's just that's where I feel the pleasure. So, as you can imagine, this is fine when I'm pleasuring myself because I know where my hand is, I can see my penis, it's fine and it all works fine, I can orgasm fine. But when it comes to using the erectile device with somebody else, I'm driving blind. What I mean by this is, because I can't feel directly on my penis and any sensation of my penis being touched is felt elsewhere, I don't always know where my penis is. Well, of course I know it's between my legs, but imagine if your eyes are closed and you touch your nose. You know you've touched your nose because you can feel it. But imagine if you closed your eyes and when you touched your nose, you felt it in your ear. You wouldn't know where your nose was, would you? And that's exactly what happens. So it can be quite strange. Once I'm in, so to speak, I feel pleasure and I feel sensation and it's wonderful. But getting in, like I'm going to try and demonstrate it now, getting in like that, I can't tell by not looking where about my penis is. So that is tricky. But I've learned over time to work out how to do that, and it's fine. Now, because I realise how valuable this information is for people that are thinking about having lower surgery and considering the erectile device, I have decided to share a video where I show my penis and I demonstrate how the erectile device works and explain in more detail what I've said in this video about using the direction of travel and so forth. Now, this video is of course very private and intimate and difficult to share. So I have made this only available on my Ko-Fi creator support page. So if you make a donation over there, then you'll be able to see the video. And I hope you understand why I've done it that way, because this is not an easy thing to share, but I also do realise it's useful. And if you'd like to see that and donate to my page, then I'll pop the link in the description below. And now on to some of the concerns about the erectile device that lots of you have also mentioned on that poll I put up yesterday. And the two main ones were feeling the mechanics inside your body and worrying about the reliability of the device. Now, the reliability of the device is something that does concern me a lot. I don't want it to fail. The erectile devices, especially the pump, have quite a short shelf life. They can fail in 5 years. You're lucky if they last 15. And I'm very, very aware of this. And if I'm very honest, I'm probably aware of it every time I pump him up and every time I deflate him. But I try to not let myself over focus on it. The way I'm dealing with it is that I'm just enjoying it for how long I have it. And when it fails, it fails. I'm not quite sure what I will do when it does, because it will at some point. They don't last forever. And with the way waiting lists are here in the UK, if it failed, it could be years before I got it replaced. I'm 47 now, and really I don't want to be having surgery in my 50s and 60s. So I don't know. The answer to this one is yes, it will fail. It's one of the downsides of choosing an erectile device. Even with a rod, they can fail and they still need replacing at some point. But I would rather have an erection for a brief period of time than never at all. And I might change my mind later and just have it renewed and replaced when it fails. But currently I don't know. It's like a lot of things in life, isn't it? We can spend too much time worrying about what will happen, and when we do that, we don't enjoy what's happening now. So I'd rather not worry about it and just very much enjoy my penis. If anything, it gives me an excuse to say, well, I've got to enjoy it now, haven't I? Don't know how long it's going to last. The bonus is I still can feel pleasure when I'm soft. And this is again where it works different to a cis male penis, because if you arouse a cis male, his penis won't stay soft, whereas mine does. And because the erectile device gives Finn Jr. a bit more substance, that helps. Because before I had the erectile device fitted, when there's nothing in the centre of your penis, it's really kind of quite soft. And when I used to pleasure myself with my penis then, it was quite hard to kind of hold him. Whereas now he's got something through him, he's got more kind of solidity. So even when it's not erect, I can still self-pleasure. And I do frequently self-pleasure that way. I don't always pump up. I think part of me thinks I'll just save a few pumps and then it might last longer. That is the one bonus really, that when the erectile device fails, it won't mean that I can't have pleasure. In terms of the mechanics, in all honesty, it's never concerned me. It really hasn't ever concerned me having that inside me. I am not aware of anything there when I'm just walking around. The only time I am is because my scrotum, one of my testicles, is the pump. And my pump device is kind of a teardrop shape, so it's got a round ball at the bottom for pumping, and then it's kind of square where the deflate button is. And sometimes when I'm walking, if it twists, the edge of the box can go in my leg, and I'm aware that that's there, and I've got to kind of try and get it out. But apart from that, the only time I'm aware of all the mechanics is when I'm actually feeling. And the way the device is anchored, it gives you a kind of slight bump on your pubic bone, so I can feel that. And then if I feel underneath and feel around my scrotum, you can feel all of the tubes that are coming off it that go into the reservoir in my abdomen. But it's never bothered me or freaked me out in any way. And I really even didn't consider that before I had the surgery done, the erectile device. So in the next vlog I'm going to do about that, I will talk about this a bit more, because I think it's worth considering if you are somebody that might be concerned about that. But in all honesty, I'm really not. So at 2 years post-op from having the erectile device fitted, I can honestly say that I'm so glad I chose the pump, and I'm really pleased with the way things are working. To be honest, the last 2 years I've been so surprised by how much pleasure my body is capable of, and it's just wonderful. And it's all of these things combined, isn't it? It's my body matching my gender and the less dysphoria. I spoke about this in last week's vlog. So all of that kind of coming together. No pun intended. It's just incredible, you know, it's just changed so much about the way I can be with somebody and just relax. And the fact that, you know, I can have intercourse in the way that I've always kind of imagined in my head. It's just amazing. So that's a general update on healing and adjustment over these last couple of years and some of the concerns you mentioned addressed. But as I said, I am going to do another video where I talk just about concerns and questions around the erectile device. So if you do have any questions you'd like me to answer, please do pop them in the section below, and then in a couple of weeks' time I will make that video. Thanks for watching, folks. If you appreciate my content and you'd like to say thank you, I do have some options for memberships and donations, all of which come with lots of perks, and you can find out about that on the YouTube join button as a Flock Club member or over on my Ko-fi page as a Coffee Club member. And they're both perk-tastic. Take good care of yourselves, folks, and I look forward to seeing you next week on Tuesday for your next video.